So my first question would be actually for Scott. So you've been in Uzbekistan for about 3 years now, I understand. When you first can you just tell us your sort of initial experiences when you first went there and how that's changed during that time?
Sure. I went there sort of by accident. I was living in Myanmar at the time. I went to Kazakhstan for an investor conference, and the country had recently just opened up, and no one was really broadcasting what was happening in the country. So I figured I was in the neighborhood. I would go and take a look, and I was very much surprised. From an opportunity standpoint, Kazakhstan, of course, is the biggest country in the region, our biggest economy, courtesy of oil mainly. And going to Uzbekistan, what I saw was a diversified economy, a very diversified economy, a lot of entrepreneurs. So the horticultural breadbasket of the region, and said, I guess on real estate, I saw real estate projects that were yielding 20+% in US dollars unlevered. So land in the city center was $150, $200 maximum per square meter. Now it's gone up a bit, but you're looking at a capital city that in 5 or 10 years is going to be closer to 10 million people than 5 million people, I'd imagine. So what I looked at with the reforms was, if no country gets it right, but if they get it 20 or 30% right, Uzbekistan has the potential to sort of become the Vietnam of Central Asia. It has the largest industrial base in the region. It's the manufacturing powerhouse of the region. It has its own energy, which is increasingly important these days. It's able to produce a large portion of its own fertilizer. And you look at the textile industry, which previously there was a ban or a boycott due to forced labor and child labor in the cotton industry, which in March of this year was the organization that had organized the boycott lifted it. The ILO has confirmed that last year there's no more forced labor in the cotton industry. You actually have people voluntarily going to pick because it's good income. So the country is totally transformed. And as was mentioned earlier, the country is becoming sort of more digitized slowly but surely. They're cleaning up bureaucracy. No doubt there's a whole lot of bureaucracy still there, but the government knows they need to trim it down if they want to attract investors. And some very positive things. We're mainly in the listed equities market. There's a whole lot of development that's happening there in terms of trimming bureaucracy, but it's across the board in the economy. And yeah, it's very exciting what's happened in the past few years.
Absolutely, and as we know, it's changed a lot. And Giedrius, I'd like to get your view on this as well, please.
Well, I will very much echo what Scott has just said. I mean, the country has a very good basis, pretty big desire to upgrade itself. I mean, it has all the chances to do so. I mean, before 2000s, country was really viewed as a central hub for many multinationals and everybody else in Central Asia. I mean, I think they're having now the second trial, pretty successful trial. I'm very excited about how the officials, government, president understands the need to attract new competencies, new resources. I mean, it's not always easy. I mean, it's still a very slow country. And having said that, there is a huge desire to learn and to attract talent and to attract competences and to attract capital. From our point of view, I mean, we see this as a big growing economy. We should see two main topics in the real estate. One being connectivity. That's my main topic in Quadro Capital. With all the changing geopolitics, Silk Roads moving, some of the northern countries less stable. Uzbekistan is becoming a very interesting transportation hub, both for ground transportation and for air cargo, possibly, if they invest proper money into that. So that's in terms of connectivity, we see a lot of potential going forward. In terms of financial connectivity, we see a lot of potential going forward. I mean, Uzbekistan was to a certain extent a beneficiary of the unfortunate recent events, and its stability and its ability to kind of work well with all the neighbors which is a big news for Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan was very isolated, and for the last 3-4 years, the president did an immense job in making sure that it's viewed as a kind of center of communication. So that's both financial and then business connectivity. I think it's going to be a big business opportunity. In terms of traditional real estate, what Scott was telling about the land plots, the center, buildings, mushrooming all over the place. I mean, there's still a lot of quality upgrades that are needed there. Having said that, I mean, for many people in the country, like in many emerging markets, real estate is an alternative to deposits. So there's a lot of money saving exercise via real estate, which pushes the real estate market beyond that would be a normal consumer market. So it has both the saving component and the residential improvement component. So in both cases, with all this economy growing, with younger generation upgrading their lifestyles by connectivity through the country increasing, I think it has a lot of opportunity, lots of challenges. I will not tell it's an easy market, but the desire, what's different from, I worked in many emerging countries. I mean, what's different in Uzbekistan is that even if something is not working on the bureaucratic level, they're trying hard to push it through and to support investors, which is, I think, a big plus. Not always works. I mean, again, it's still an emerging market, so don't be. It's not center of London, you know, where you have all the infrastructure, banks, lawyers, agents. I mean, that's not. But yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity.
Thanks, Giedrius.